There's your leader, number 11. Waltrip going down into the turn. Battle is for second place. Wheel to wheel they go, and Bonnett takes it. Neil Bonnett going into second spot, and now he's trying to close, trying to move in on his teammate.
Oh,
and we got a bad crash on the back straightaway. 3 cars into the wall coming out of turn number 2. Well back from the leaders. Coming around for a white flag and a white and a caution. It's over. 88 Rusty Wallace has crashed. 88 Wallace has crashed. We'll try to have you take a look at it in replay. Here he comes. Caution is out. Number 88 Wallace finishing up in a blaze of sparks and a car on fire. It is car number 22. Allison's car coming down for the finish. The winner is going to be car number 11 will win it. 12 pulled up beside him, but they were under caution. Richard Petty is crashing, coming out of turn number 4. Richard Petty has just spun and looked at his car lights right in the center of the track. 11 pulls up. Did he win it?
Yes,
crowd
he won
is on their feet. I'm sure he won it.
I'm sure he
Caution was out,
flag.
and he will go to victory lane because the caution came out as the white flag had been thrown the previous lap. When they came down for the white flag, yellow was on the track.
They're saying that Neil Bonnett won the race.
And now they're showing on the board that Neil Bonnett won the race. Here's the 11 car coming down. Hold the phone. Wait for the decision. What do you think, Benny?
I think I'm confused. I don't know what I think.
Junior Johnson's crew down there around the number 11. The 12 is involved. They both came across together. Now number 11 pulls back on the track.
He's going to the scales to put gas in the car. And
car number 11 going back. Car number 12 coming back out. Neil Bonnett coming out.
He's waved to do.
White and yellow. The 12 will take it. Neil Bonnett will have it on white and yellow.
Neil Bonnett won the race?
We're going to take a look at it again. Boy, what a night and what a finish here in Nashville. Now they're taking the number down and they're putting up number 11.
I think Darrell Waltrip won the race, as I said a moment ago, kid.
Well, they've just taken down number 12 and they're putting up number 11. Well, Dave Despain was working his way down to victory lane.
But who's he going to talk to when he gets there?
I don't know. I might as well talk to Rusty Wallace at this point. The 3rd position,
you know, the fans
Bodine, number 5, and the 4th position was car number 15, Ricky Rudd, and the 5th position was Ron Bouchard. The question is, who's first?
Ron.
Who's on first?
The people with
Looks
fans.
like a comedy routine right now, Benny.
We're in a glassed-in booth area. We can see the fans in front of us, and they're all turning around looking at us and saying, who won the race? And I got to tell them, I don't know.
Now they're rolling 12 back.
They put 12 on the board again.
This is going to be one they're going to talk about for a long time to come. Now, let's take a look in the replay, Benny Parsons.
This looks official. This push.
All right, here they come.
But the question is when did the caution flag wave? Darrell's on the inside, Neil Bonnett's on the outside on the ISO. But, you know, when is the caution flag? Does it wave the lap before? That's what I want to know.
Here they come to the line.
I agree that Neil Bonnett, well, we're going to say he'd be to the line. Come on.
Here they are, coming to the stripe, and there's the car number 12 out there. Question is, which is the flag?
Okay. Now, he beat him to the start-finish line on the 420th lap, but my opinion is that the caution flag was out on the 419th lap.
I sort of think, I agree with you. I thought that on the 419th lap that we saw yellow-white. If we can get down. Let's go to Dave Despain.
Lane wins the race. Neil, did you win it or did Darrell Waltrip win it?
Well, I know I took the checkered flag up to then. I don't know what happened. You know, the last few laps I had a flat just before that last caution. The reason I spun out. And after that, I couldn't even see how many laps was left or what. I knew I just had to try to get back. I don't know what happened.
At that point, you just charged for it. The officials are still trying to sort it out. In your mind, when did you get around Darrell Waltrip?
Past Darrell in the 4th turn up there. I don't know. You know, it's probably their judgment. You know, Junior and Doug and all the guys did a heck of a job. We just did everything we can possibly do. It's in their hands now.
And speaking of hands, how is yours? You drove this race with a broken wrist, and obviously it didn't hamper you too badly.
I'll tell you, it's been about to kill me. I called them about an hour ago, and my thumb's been cramping. I can't move it, and it's all cramped up, but this thing here might make me forget about it.
In a situation like this, when there's great controversy, what do? Do you jump into the middle of this, or do you let Junior handle it?
I've done everything I can do. I've rode my 420 miles. It's up to them.
Well, the first guy to victory lane is Neil Bonnett. How long it'll take to find out who won the race may be another question. Ken?
The issue would seem to be not the 420th lap, Benny, but 419. Now there's Darrell Waltrip.
That's the question that I have is, I felt like that the white and caution both waved, and in those circumstances, in Grand National racing, once you take the caution flag and go across the start-finish line, you can't pass.
We're going to get a word with, and you can tell that there's a very angry, or not angry, but concerned Darrell Waltrip there, and we'll try to get a word with him in just a moment.
It's not what I understand. It's what's right and what I saw. The white and the yellow came out together. That's the end of the race.
You know, it ain't what I think.
There is Darrell Waltrip walking away with his crew.
Thank you, Darrell.
Really going back into his pit area, walking down and away. Well, you heard him say, caution. As far as he was concerned, he saw caution in white.
That's right. He's not going to victory lane, that's for sure.
Here's Waltrip, keeps him straight, but he keeps on tapping. Now Waltrip on the inside. Side by side. Down to the inside.
Oh!
4 cars. There it goes.
There's Bonnett into the fence. Joe Ruttman spins around. Who's going to win the race? Where's Kyle Petty? Kyle Petty is slowed down. He's going slow.
Caution is
Kyle
out.
Petty's going to win the race.
397. I think Kyle's going to take it home.
Joe Ruttman gets going again. I think he's going to run second.
Car number 3 comes around. All beaten up. Wild finish here at Richmond. Let's take a look again, Benny. Here they were.
They're going down the back straightaway. Earnhardt drives in the right rear quarter of Waltrip.
Takes himself out.
Takes himself out. 26, Joe Ruttman, he can't get through without spinning there. Ruttman gets through, but he spins. Bonnett spins in on the outside of the, we see him obscured up there, but he spins and hits the outside retaining wall. There's Darrell Waltrip's Chevrolet, and it is torn up.
Gone away.
It's stalled on the back straightaway. It can't go any farther. That's as far as it'll go.
Kyle Petty is headed for victory lane. A disappointed, discouraged Waltrip trying to gather himself up, climbing out. Thought he was going to victory lane. Instead, he's going to take that one over to the boneyard. There's nothing left of car number 11 today.
He did a great job getting up there, too. He and Earnhardt had some swapped some sheet metal down in turns 1 and 2.
Let's go quickly to Jerry Garrett.
Dale Earnhardt, what was your view on what happened in that accident?
Just hung up with old Darrell. We got in the wall.
Close racing all day. Do you think it was going to come down to that?
I was hoping we could race on, but we just hung up. Congratulations, old Kyle. You know, he's sitting in the right place at the right time.
Who do you feel hit who on that last thing between you and Darrell?
I just racing. I ain't going to, you know, me and Darrell's got to race week to week. There ain't nothing to it.
Okay, obviously not too anxious to talk about it too much more.
Darrell Waltrip in the 4th corner now. Wallace comes down low again. He puts a tire. Waltrip loses when it's a 10. Waltrip spins it backwards across the grass as they come to the white flag. No, the yellow flag comes out. The yellow flag comes out. And that means that the lap is not going to count. But can Waltrip get it going?
He's still got his engine running, Paul. He's still trying to get around. Of course, he's going to be way behind.
Special rule, though. Special rule. Unless it's on the last lap, which it was not. These laps don't count. It'll still be a run.
But he has to start at the back of the pack. I mean, he will not be able to catch the cars. Start it at the back of the pack.
Take a look here, Benny.
Rusty's trying to get underneath him. Just a moment ago, we saw the right rear tire smoke on Rusty's car from the other angle. Rusty trying desperately to get under. He touches Darrell Waltrip in the left rear. Around goes Darrell.
It absolutely was Rusty's fault. There's no question about that. They were just both trying very hard. Rusty possibly tried a little too hard.
The laps under yellow. The last 10 laps don't count. Let's go to the pits. Jerry Punch.
We're with Barry Dodson, Rusty Wallace's crew chief. And Barry, what did Rusty tell you happened out there between him and Darrell?
He said he got under Darrell and then everything got close. So I guess Darrell didn't give him any room, and evidently they touched. He didn't really know. He said he got down under him clean, all of a sudden he was gone.
Rusty Wallace's version is lack of racing room coming out of turn 4. That's the reason for the spin, he says. Paul?
Wallace with a Pontiac Power and the checkered flag as Wallace picks up $200,000 and the Winston. The Winston has been won by Rusty Wallace, followed by Ken Schrader and then Dale Earnhardt.
I'm Jack Arute here in Victory Lane at the end of the Winston, and Rusty Wallace has won it a little bit controversially, though.
Yeah, you know, it's just this 10 laps is a rough 10 laps, man. You got to drive hard. Darrell was driving hard. I was driving hard. I got up underneath him coming off of turn 4. We just got together. He come down. I try to help my groove. We both just touched. That's all there was to it. You know, I would have rather finished the race, me winning it, and nothing like that happening. But, you know, it happened this way in '87, and I don't think those guys were doing that on purpose either. And I didn't have nothing to do with doing that on purpose. It was a tough race. I'm sorry for Darrell. Glad we won. I'd like to thank Kodiak, Pontiac, Mobile One, AC Spark Plugs, everybody.
Paul, that's it from Victory Lane.
Well, Rusty Wallace picks up $200,000, but this was earlier. As you can see, the tempers are hot when there's that much money on the line, as quite a fight broke out just outside of the winner's circle here. Officials and other team members moved in trying to break it up. Went on for just a few minutes. So when you have that much money, you just naturally have a confrontation, and that's what we've seen today.
Well, a lot of emotions here in the Tide truck, and Darrell, one of them was anger when you guys got back here. What happened those last couple laps?
Car got I was a little bit loose in 3 and 4, and I guess Rusty saw that, so coming down to get the white flag, he just drove in under me up there and just turned me around. It didn't take a lot, but you know, with some people, you know how they are, so if you open the door, I guess you get what I guess you can expect, something like that. It was uncalled for. I could never race, I could never walk through this garage area having done that to someone, but some people can, and more power to them, I guess.
Darrell, after the race, there was an altercation outside of Victory Lane, both of the crews getting together a little bit. What are your feelings about that?
Well, emotion's high, you know. This is a show, and it's sort of like the animals are getting a little tense right there at the end of the show, and one of them might bite you. So the tension was high. That was totally uncalled for out there. And the thing that I'm most upset about is NASCAR, first of all, not putting me back in the lead, because they went back to the last green flag lap, they said. I was leading that lap. Second of all, that they don't put a stop to something like that. That's the two things I think are so wrong. And I guess, you know, we'll have to live with all that stuff. I guess everybody got what they paid for today.
Darrell, rumored is that Rick Hendrick may protest the finish because of the rules stating that you should have been back up front.
Oh, I don't know what good it'd do. You know, we can't go back and run the thing over. And he's absolutely correct. I mean, you can't go back to the last green lap and not put it back like it was. They put everybody else back like it was. And I didn't spin out. I got knocked out. So I should have been allowed to go back to the front. If they're going to do it right, I mean, to me, that's what they just took $200,000 away from me and told that boy that what he did was A-OK, do it again, buddy, if you got to.
That's Darrell Waltrip. Let's go to Jack Arute. Jack?
I'm here with Les Richter, who's the Vice President of Competition for NASCAR. And Les, what's the official ruling on the finish of this race?
Well, right at this point in time, Rusty Wallace is the winner of Winston.
Any fines anticipated for not only what happened on the racetrack, but the altercation, the fist fight after the race?
I think the altercation of the fist fight is going to draw some attention. As far as the incident that took place in the racetrack, there was 2 cars racing for the finish, and they got together. One came down, one might have gone up. It's hard to say. We are looking at it from a different perspective than maybe a television camera is.
Well, that's the word from NASCAR, and they certainly do have the last word in competition here in the Winston.
Ricky Rudd now is in the lead. Waltrip had second there for a moment, but slipped coming off the second corner. Now he gets it again, and Davey Allison is back to third.
He and Davey Mason.
Oh!
And Waltrip goes around.
Nice save. Didn't hit anything.
Whew. Well, this is the break they need for their last caution flag, for their last pit stop. And if Darrell can get her turned around, which it looks like he will, and stay in the lead lap, he still will be okay.
Yeah, he really isn't going to lose a whole lot unless that bump damaged the car in some way.
Yeah, that's pretty level ground down there. He went over some gravel and everything. I doubt it affected it that much.
Now you can see Darrell Waltrip and Davey Allison having a discussion. as they had a meeting of their two cars earlier in the race that sent Darrell sliding through the front stretch. We'll be right back. The leader of the race right now is Davey Allison. Here's Dr. Punch.
Well, indeed, the leader right now, the defending champion of the Valleydale Meets 500. And Davey, that last restart, that could have been what gave you the win. What happened? Do you think Ernie might have missed a shift, or did you just catch him going into one?
No, I was on cooler tires, fresher tires than Ernie was, and I think he spun the wheels a little bit coming off the 4 over there. When it did, it just gave me a jump, you know. We've been racing hard. The car's driving really good, though. I got to hand it to Larry McReynolds, all the guys on the crew. They've worked really hard all day, making the adjustments that I've asked for. And, you know, we've just been right in the hunt all day long.
It has been a difficult day from the top to the bottom of the field. Contact almost every lap.
Well, you know, this restart stuff has been a mess, and, you know, we've got to do something different. We've got to do something different because it's just getting... look at all the torn-up race cars around here.
What happened over there? You and Darrell Waltrip, and you were penalized, put in the rear. What actually went on out there?
Well, see, when you're Darrell Waltrip, you can get away with that kind of stuff, and all you got to do is look at the side of my race car right here. That's coming off of turn 2 and going into turn 3 with me on the outside. And we got down there, and I still had momentum up. I raced him. I went ahead and raced him. We come off the corner over there. He jumps up in front of me and backs out of the gas. And there wasn't nothing I could do. When I hit him, you know, then he comes over here mouthing off at me. But when you're Darrell Waltrip, it's okay, but anybody else, you're not.
Davey Allison obviously upset, but if it continues to rain, there's going to be a smile on this young man's face. Let's go over to John Kernan, who's standing by with Darrell Waltrip.
Well, we've heard from Davey now. Let's talk to Darrell, his version of what happened out there that ended up Davey getting penalized.
Well, I'm really happy that he got penalized. He needed to be penalized, and he just spun me out. You know, it's tough out there today, and you have to use all the judgments you got, and you have to be careful, and you don't run into somebody and knock fire out of them on purpose. And he's had a little bit of a problem with me, and I don't know what it is. He gave me a finger last week down at Darlington. When I was laps down, I passed him, had 4 tires, and went on. Today he spun me out. We're going to have a little talk, I guess, father and son type.
Well, aside from that, I heard you telling someone else you got hit 9 times. It just seemed that everybody was a little bit over-anxious out there, a little too impatient.
The pit rules have got everybody so frustrated right now that you just have to do stupid things. You get hung up on the outside. I've got a fast race car. I need to be up front. I'm hung up on the outside every time, and I get booted up in that loose stuff, and you either hit the wall or run over somebody or wreck. And so this is the hardest mentally race I believe I have ever tried to run. I started 22nd. I'm pitting on the back straightaway. That's bad enough, and then the pit rule just makes it worse. So I just pray to God that they'll get this thing straightened out. It is killing a lot of us.
But you were able to come to the front and move into the top 5 there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'd be able to lap the field if I could get up there where I belong.
Thank you very much, Darrell. Gentlemen.
Crash in turn number 1 involving Darrell Waltrip. He's backed his Western Auto Chevy into the wall. It's moving, however. Bad damage to the outside, the rear end of the car. Here's the caution flag being displayed to Harry Gant as he comes down. Sorry we had to break away from that interview with Greg Sachs, who is helping get that car back in the race. Here is a replay. Waltrip going into turn 1. Contact with Jeff, it looked like.
Jeff Bodine was trying to get under him. Apparently Darrell didn't see him, and Darrell backs into the wall hard.
Brett Bodine barely.
Yeah.
That was the only one car involved was Darrell Waltrip, but you're right. Jeff was trying to get under him going in the corner, just a little touch on the left rear, and around went Darrell. And I tell you what, that always makes me nervous when drivers drive him around with that rear end dragging and throwing sparks, and could possibly be a gas leak back there. But I guess he's been far enough, it's not a problem.
Harry Punch is with Darrell Waltrip, who brought out our second caution of the day.
Well, Darrell Waltrip has climbed out of what's left of the Western Auto Chevrolet and DW. You had a pretty good run going. What happened up there?
You know, I'd like to tell you what really happened up there, but I'm trying not to. But there was a little turd driving number 15 that run over me. What happened?
Can you get it fixed, DW?
No. That knocked us out. You know, I moved out of the way for everybody. I moved up for him. I guess it wasn't enough.
Obviously upset. Darrell Waltrip hoping to get a good run here at Darlington.
Yeah, it's very tough to keep your cool and to realize that you're out of the race. Darrell Waltrip apparently is out after that crash up in turn number 1.
Rusty gets out of the way now. Cotton Petty.
Oh, upside down. Into the guardrail, side over side, end over end, and Davey Allison has experienced a horrifying crash. Davey Allison. His car is upside down. Fuel is pouring out of it. The safety crew is right there. It stopped just in front of one of the safety trucks. Here he comes off of corner number 3.
Didn't coast the rest of the way down.
He's got it. Darrell Waltrip has won the Miller Genuine Draft 500. Using fuel conservation, he has won. Gant finishes in second position. Well, let's go down to our Kodak Winner's Circle interview. Here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much. And they're not excited at all, not happy at all. DW, congratulations.
Honey, where are you? Honey, this is for the baby. This is for you and Jessica and the baby. This is wonderful, honey. We did it on gas mileage. Can you imagine? She was worried about her gas mileage because she's figured it all my life.
Now you're talking about Stevie, who's back in Franklin watching at home.
Watching on TV right now, her and Jessica Lee. Love y'all.
Now, she's not close enough to have that baby jumping up and down here these last couple laps.
Well, that's pretty close. Sometime, in the next 4 or 5 weeks. So, honey, just hold on. I'll be home in a little while.
How about the gas mileage? Did you think you could make it? I know Jeff was talking to you.
I didn't think we could, but he said we could, so I just kept going, and it ran out on the last lap, and I know people get tired of hearing that, but that's exactly what happened. And coming back in and topping off, that was the saving deal for us. But main thing is how's Davey doing? He and I got together on that deal over there, but it was nothing I could do. He just kept cutting and cutting, and when we hit, he just turned and went right into the infield. So I don't know what y'all saw, but we did get together.
Well, that's the first thing. We might tell the folks almost the very first thing Darrell Waltrip asked when he jumped out of the car here is how's Davey Allison. And we'll tell you, Davey, they think he has a broken right arm and may have a fracture above his left eye, but otherwise, he seems to be okay, DW.
Well, I'm sorry. Sorry that happened, but, we were all going for the same hoe and just run out of room.
It's been a long time.
Well, it's been a year ago this race, or this spring race, I guess, so it's been almost a year, but this car was good here in the spring, and we broke a gearbox. Today, everything worked good. We shifted the whole thing to death.
Darrell Waltrip in victory lane for the first time in 1992.
Thank the Lord for
and he thanks the Lord for a safe race. And another guy who's probably just as happy as DW is standing by with John Kerr.
Let's go down trackside live. Join Matt Yoakum, who's with Tony Stewart. Matt?
Chris, a few random incidents starting with Bristol. And Tony, are people making too much about the on-track stuff, or there may be some hidden frustrations over the fact you haven't won yet this year?
There's no hidden frustrations. I think the people that are blowing it out of proportion are, Mike Joy and Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip in the booth. Nobody else has been complaining about it. But Rusty and I talked when we saw each other, 2 days ago at the airport, and we were just kind of laughing about it and shook hands and went on. And, our fans at Sedalia, Missouri and Knoxville, Iowa that came out to watch us run the sprint car, they stood out in the rain for a half hour in the rain to get autographs. So, it's funny. I keep watching the replays of the race after I get home and listening to Darrell and Mike Joy and McReynolds. It's like you keep watching the screen waiting on Tattoo to come by in his little white tuxedo welcoming everybody to Fantasy Island.
Well, when you look at your career in Cup, you've got 17 career wins, but only one before the month of May. 3 wins here. Going to be tough or easy getting number 4 tonight?
Well, it's never getting easier in this series. I mean, the competition keeps getting tougher, but it's because there's a lot of great race teams and a lot of great drivers out here, and it can be done. I mean, I think the last one we won here, we started 28th or further back than that even. So with a new surface, none of us really knew what to expect, but we all watched the Busch race last night. Guys were able to get in the second group, so that's encouraging for us, and I think all the fans are really going to enjoy the race this weekend. But the hardest thing for us this weekend, we ran that ESGR car at California for Richard Childress, and our chopper pilot, I can't remember Scott's last name now, but from Paducah, Kentucky, he's just got called back into active duty with the Guard and Reserve. So, I lost my helicopter pilot, and we're just praying for him and hoping that he has a safe trip to Iraq and gets the business done at hand over there and gets home to us.
Hey, Maddie, ask Tony, tell him this is a reality show. And, what we just talk about, I told him this the other night when I was talking to him. We just talk about what we see, and the one thing we see is a common denominator of him involved with a lot of other folks. So, I mean, we're not picking on him. We're just telling what we see.
DW says, Tony, that he's not picking on you. He just is seeing what the video shows.
Yeah, I know. Darrell's memory kind of gets a little screwed up sometimes. I guess he forgets that with all the rule changes he wants NASCAR to make, he forgets that if they changed the rules and took the champion's provisional away, he wouldn't have been able to race the last 2 years. So, I know Darrell's doing what he has to do at his job, but I think there's a lot of times what you see on the screen isn't the whole total story, and I think they've done a real good job in the booth of blowing things way out of proportion like they normally do. I guess that's probably what they need for ratings, which I think our sport's doing a pretty good job of ratings without having to butcher up what they see on the screen.
All right, thanks very much for your time. You know, the truth is NASCAR did meet with Tony. They haven't punished him yet, but and you weren't the only ones complaining. Rusty did complain. Casey Kane complained. Jeff Burton, other drivers have complained.
Well, it's like I talked to Tony. I said, look, man, there's a common denominator in all these situations, and it's you. And so that's the best. That's all I can tell you.
And I don't need to defend. People know you won 84 races, 3 Cup championships. I mean, Tony does have one, but he has yet to win a race this year. And Jeff, his crew, they have felt the effects of this to some degree.
Well, I mean, when you're ever the crew chief, whenever you're part of the team, and you've got to back your driver. I mean, whenever I worked with Darrell, whatever kind of problems he got into, they were my problems. So if Tony's catching a lot of flack, well, then Greg Zipadelli and the whole team, if they're the kind of team they're supposed to be, they back their driver, they feel the heat. Again, you know, you don't need that because it's a tough business we're in already. When you're trying to win races, you don't need that kind of adverse publicity. I can tell you that.
And I tried to hire him. I mean, I was one of the first guys that I tried to hire him to drive my race car. Well, and I am a huge fan.
And Tony's good for the sport because he's excellent. He does win, and he does have a personality. I think a lot of drivers. But so far, in NASCAR's eyes, he hasn't done anything wrong on the track. Correct?
No.
Well, I don't know about.
I don't think he has.
Okay, Darrell thinks otherwise, but that's why we're here.